this was fate. My marriage was done. He was in counseling, but this just wasn't our case. For me, he came in and saved my kid's life.
Have you ever met someone at exactly the wrong time and thought, well, that's going to haunt me for the next few decades? Today's guests prove that sometimes God's timing has a much longer attention span than ours. Picture this: a bride trying on her wedding dress, a 6-foot-something Viking-looking farm boy pounding on the front door, instant sparks, and absolutely the worst possible timing imaginable. 33 years later, they're still making each other laugh, still leaving love notes, and proving that sometimes the best love stories don't start with I do. Meet Bob and Renee. I'm going in a little blind on this one. I haven't heard their story, but I know it's incredible. So we're going to hear it for the first time together. So let's find out from Renee and Bob. We want to know everything.
Hi, Renee Renner Warnick. I was born in north central Idaho, not Iowa or Ohio.
Come on.
Idaho. And on a prairie, I lived out in the country, farmer ranchers, and my town was 500 people. And I was born in 1952, and it is still 501 now. And so I was born in a very rural area. We ranched, we raised cattle. I had a new colt. Farmed, did it all. And then I went off to college, got a couple of masters, and was in special ed and alternative ed, and ended up teaching as a rehab specialist in a men's prison. And I loved to travel beforehand and all that. Bob, you're on.
Oh, okay. I was born in 1947, Redondo Beach, California, where I grew up, went to South High School. My dad was actually born and raised in Craigmont, Idaho, but did not like farming. And he came down to California with his second wife. My sister and I were born. I was 47, Mary was born in 45. And we grew up here and went to the local high schools, did college and all this. And it was during the Vietnam War era. Married my high school sweetheart. We got married, and then I got the welcome letter from the government, got drafted. And fortunately, I was able to circumvent going into the Army, which actually drafted in the Marine Corps. And I went into the Air Force instead, and I was stationed in Korea and did a little stint in TDY over in Southeast Asia. And unfortunately, it took its toll on the marriage. We ended up getting the divorce, and I was single for many years. I went to college. I became a respiratory therapist. I worked in a trauma unit for 10 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And I went on to further my education. I got another bachelor's degree. I became a consultant for hospitals. And there I met my second wife. She was 10 years younger than me. And we were married for about 8.5 years, but it did not work well. Did you want me to regress about the Sweden adventure? Or
Oh, my gosh.
if you want to hear a little bit.
This is your
We'll get
story.
into that in a little bit.
Okay.
So then, but I've known Renee basically all her life and all of my life. And so here we are. We were able to team up, and it's been a wonderful ride.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's been a wonderful ride.
Let's circle back. You've known Renee her whole life. So, Renee, were you married previously?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we want to hear about that.
First, we have to go back just a bit, if that's okay.
Yeah,
When my father came back from World War II, his grandmother still had the farm in Craigmont, Idaho. Her husband had sadly passed away, but she kept it through the Depression and everything. So when my father came back, she went up to my dad, this little tiny one. My dad's 6'3", goes, "Richard Renner, you're going to farm my farm ground. I'm moving into town and you're moving into my farmhouse. And I wasn't born yet. But then every year, his family, his mother, his father, his sister, and himself, they would come up and visit Grandma Warnicott, and they would get together with my family. But my first 3 years were spent growing up in his family farmhouse that they homesteaded in 1896. I've known him forever, but when you're 5 and he's 10 and putting you on his back to take you to the deep end of the pool because he was tall and skinny, I mean, he was a great guy. Then when I'm 10 and he's 15, well, there ain't nothing happening there. Better not be. Well, then we just didn't see each other again until 1974. The summer I'm getting married to another man. Yeah. So there's a lot of family history between our parents and his sister, my brother, and all.
Knock on the door.
And then the knock. It sounds really kind of not the best.
It's a great
Because in
story.
1974, his father sent him up in the summer to learn the value of the farm ground that he is going to inherit.
I was on school break at the time.
Yes. And you got to keep in mind there's 5 years difference here, okay? And I'm in our front room. I just had a fitting with my wedding dress. I was sliding it off, and there's this big pounding at the front door. It's a ranch house. And I go to the door, and here is this. Holy crap, he looked like a Viking. I mean, he was this monster of a man with this full strawberry blonde red beard.
Long brown and blonde hair.
And I hope it's okay if I cuss, because he was louder than hell. He goes, "Hello, I'm Bob Warnicott." And of course, being a ranch girl in a small community, I looked at him and said, "Well, no shit, Sherlock. Nobody around here would talk like that." And we got the giggles and we got to laughing. But when I looked up at him, I knew. I thought, oh my, I'm getting tingles now. I thought, I'm in so much trouble. This man is going to live with us for a couple of months. And I thought, oh my God, I'm so attracted to him. Oh, Lord. And then, Bob, what was when you saw me?
Oh, wow. I thought, man, you got the wrong wedding dress on. But too bad she's getting married. But I went up there to work and, so we became friends.
He had dirty thoughts, he told me,
of course
when
I
he
did,
saw me.
Yeah, I was, what,
Yes.
27?
I was in a little halter top and little shorts and had a figure like,
Yeah. So,
And-
I thought, oh, wow, this is like what I didn't expect that. And so her father did put me to work on the farm for the summer. And she did go through with the marriage.
Yeah.
And
But we hung out a lot before the marriage
Yeah, we
with
did.
my brother
Yeah.
and with my parents. And there was a connection.
Yeah, there was just a strong
And-
connection,
And just, I mean, coming from a small community, you're the big hit of this summer, right? You're going to have a wedding in this tiny town. And I thought it was last minute jitters. I did. I thought it was last minute jitters, but it just clung to me. I went through with the wedding, and
yeah.
and then afterwards, my father said to me many years later when we got together, he goes, "Yeah, Mom and I were laying in bed wondering if you were going to be there in the morning for your wedding or not." But he came into my bedroom the night before the wedding. He gets on his knees. He puts his hands over the bed. Now, keep in mind, this is 1974, and I'm a good little Idaho girl, all right? I'm like 21 and a half.
I'm from California.
Yeah. And he reaches over and he takes my hands and he goes, "Please don't marry him. Just run away with me." Run away with me? Yeah. If he had said, "Marry me," I'd have been gone like that. I swear to you, I would have.
But you got to understand, I was living on the GI Bill, had a beat up Mustang, couldn't even support myself.
Okay, what's the difference between running away and marrying?
I don't know, it just sounded better.
So anyway, I went through with the marriage and it was so painful because he ended up, the church was so full, he ended up having to escort people in and get more chairs and
Being an usher.
and it was really bad. We have this one picture in my wedding of me looking down after I said I do. I looked down and he's looking at me and we both are like, oh, we had the most painful look on our faces. Oh, it was.
It was.
And so we went our separate ways, never saw each other again
17 years.
until 1991.
Yeah.
And this part is sad. My mother was bigger than life. She never smoked in her life. And she, at 66, got lung cancer. And the doctor said, you have 6 months to live. I'm in southern Idaho as a special ed teacher. I take a leave. I come home to take care of her. And he still came up every year to see my parents with his wife at the time.
That was wife number 2.
Yeah. And so he called. We hadn't spoken in, since 74.
Yeah.
And he called about mom, because we used to joke and say these two would run off together if they were the same age. They'd go party and wouldn't come home.
Your mama's fantastic.
Oh, my mom was awesome. So is my father. He's quiet. My mom was crazy. Oh, God, she was so much fun. So anyway, he called to check on mom. And then he goes, well, how are you and Ron doing? And I had already made up my mind. I was with him for 20 years. It was a challenge. He was an alcoholic. And then he became up and down with just manic depression and things. I was exhausted. And so was Ron. It was an amicable divorce. I got it in 31 days. I knew when I went up to take care of mother, I said, okay, this is your time to bond with the kids and let's see where we go. But I knew that it was done. And a huge epiphanal moment for me was before my mother slipped into a coma. She reached up and took my hand, and we never talked about Ron, but she reached up and took my hand and she goes, Renee, remember this. Life is too short to be miserable. You make every day count. Goosebumps, even today, goosebumps. And that gave me the strength to make my decision. And I had already talked to our kids, even though they were 13 and 10 at the time. We had already discussed all this. Okay. But when he called, I said, oh, my marriage is fine. How are you and Deborah? They were already in counseling. They were on the way out. So we didn't do anything bad, everybody.
No.
It was all on board. I even rearranged my mother's chemo when he said he was going to come up, because I knew if I signed, it would be, I'd be done for. And I didn't really want to, we didn't do anything bad. But so you showed up.
I did. I showed up. Fortunately, at that time, I had a lot of free time. Like I said, I was a hospital consultant, did some things, and I got lucky and I was able to retire when I was 42 and ran off and did some other things. And so I could bounce back and forth to Idaho, I guess, when I wanted to see what was going on. And one day I did come up and I did.
He surprised me because he didn't tell me he was coming, because I made sure I wasn't there the first time when he went to see mom.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there because I didn't want to be unfaithful. No. And I knew if I was going to be, it'd be with him.
And you still were.
I still wasn't. Thank you very much. Yeah, our first kiss was that, nothing else.
Yeah.
But then he goes to drive back to California. And he calls me on the phone when he gets to this little town called Winnemucca,
Nevada.
And he says,
what kind of a wedding do you want?
He kisses me. And then he says,
that was a phone booth I saw on the side of the road outside of Winnemucca.
Oh, my Lord. And so I'm going, oh, this is, and then you wonder, okay, is this really legit? Is he going to get home and become responsible again? But he didn't. Because here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
33 years later.
Yep. Yeah, we got together in 91. And then, the rule is when you have something happen in your life, you wait at least, in my opinion, 2 years. And then you make that decision, or at least a year. You don't jump into another marriage, because that doesn't turn out many times very good for anybody involved.
And sometimes, second chances require courage.
Yes.
Because it's scary to trust.
Yes.
And then you have children on both sides. What made you guys willing to both try again?
When I met her and when I didn't see her for the 17 years, life went on. And like I interlude, when she got married, I did come back and I did finish college. I'll give you the short version. But I did meet a Swedish lady.
Yeah, after I turned him down.
And she was 8 years older than I was, and she invited me to come to Sweden,
There we go.
which I did. I lived in Sweden for a year and a half, and I got there was a gentleman that I met who was opening a Burger King franchise.
Here's his claim to fame.
And my claim to fame is that he hired me on, and I got to help him open his first Burger King franchise in Stockholm. Well, during
Cool.
the year and a half.
I don't know what that has to do with our
I
relationship.
don't know, but
there
here
it
it kills
is.
up, you know.
Well,
but
that's part of your story.
It's part of the story, I guess. Anyway, the relationship did not, work out. It went its time. And I didn't like being an expatriate all that much. So I came back to America and stuff.
Glad you
But
did.
what I was building this whole thing up to, ever since I had met Renee at the front door, knocking on the door, coming with her little halter top, I just had a soft spot, a big soft spot in my heart for her, and I never let it go of it.
Same here.
Oh,
Same
so
here.
that was like a soul connection. That
No,
was
it
felt.
was just like
And it-
Cupid's little arrow, except it was a big bow.
Yeah. I mean, it was always there, but we never acted on
No,
it
No, never.
because,
did.
I mean, I was already getting married, but
Yeah.
we talked about it back then. But when we got back together, it was just like, wow. I mean, it was like we never had not seen each other. And I had 2 children. Bob did not have kids.
I never had children.
But it was the children, because I'm so focused as an educator, and just because I'm a mother, and you need to think of your kids first. You do, in my opinion. You brought them into this world. And so we talked about it because it came on really, really fast. Things were happening very quickly. And this is kind of a cute little thing. When we did move from southern Idaho, my father, he couldn't even make coffee. So I had to move home. And I didn't have to. I chose to. And by this time, we were in a relationship. And so the kids, we all voted. And yes, we moved up to Little Craigmont. But we would not sleep together in front of the children. I'm just not going to do that. And so he had a mattress on our son's floor for a while. And then our daughter, who's pretty precocious and outspoken, she was all like, 15 then? She said, look, Richard and I had a meeting. That's the brother. And she goes, we know what you're doing when we leave in the daytime. And Richard wants his floor back. And you're engaged.
Yeah.
So you two just sleep together, which we just about died. And we were just going to have a quiet wedding. And our daughter said, oh, no, you're not. Again, that same little church was so full
Yeah.
that they were outside waiting. And I'm sincere. It has been pure joy that you've always got those things moving. Anybody who's been in any relationship. But the thing I think that Bob and I really brought to this table was we're both yakety yaks, touchy-feely, and we communicate. And if we get into any kind of a heavy-duty, heated discussion, we look at each other and say, maybe we could have said this differently. Let's try this again, or I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. And to us, a standard rule, and it's not corny, it's don't go to bed angry.
Oh, never go to bed angry. Oh,
And we don't have to go through much of that.
no.
And I know one of your questions was about a blended family. But when you bring any man or any woman into a new relationship, you got to make sure that those kids,
They got to accept you.
Good.
They got to accept the new guy coming in
yeah. And when
or the new woman coming in.
And when it got to that point, I asked the kids first. I said, well, how are you feeling about him? I said, be honest. The kids are very honest. But they said, we like him. He doesn't blow up. He's even tempered. He's funny beyond belief, which he is. But he's just so kind-hearted and so loving. And so then remember what you did before you asked them when we got engaged. You went to the kids.
Oh, yeah, and asked them what they thought about it. They thought it would be a go. And I thought, well,
Yeah.
this would be the whole thing. And I was willing to be the stepdad because they still had their father. And that was totally fine with me. And we had a great bonding thing. And I never forced or asked the
Never.
children to call me dad. That did come natural. They called me Bob for a while. And it was Rebecca, I think, that broke the ice. And one day she just brought out, "Hey, Dad." I always told the kids, I'm not your father. You can call me dad, but anytime you ever want to go see or be with your father, go. And there's no hard feeling. I will think nothing of it because that is where you came from.
But it didn't happen.
No,
Um,
never did.
The kids, he was a nice guy. I'm not one of those people that maligns a former spouse. It just didn't work. The kids were in counseling. They were old enough, and unbeknownst to us, they requested that Bob adopt them.
Yeah.
And we got a letter from Ron's attorney. He had certain things he required of us to do before he would let Bob adopt them. And so, okay, one thing that you do, and you already know this, when you're a blended family, you always hope the kids are somewhere else every other weekend, right? We never got that. We never got a weekend alone as a new couple.
Because I adopted them.
Because they didn't want to go see their father.
Exactly.
Period. And so Bob was just slam dunked into this thing. And he was amazing. I mean, and he jumped into scouts. He jumped into cheerleading. I mean, he did it all. So when they got adopted in the courtroom, the judge was great. He said, not every child gets to choose their father, and you chose a great one. And he clapped, and everybody there clapped and stood up. Oh, it's just, oh. And so then we come out of the courtroom, and people are congratulating the kids and then congratulating us. And here come Rebecca and Richard. Rebecca always in charge. She folds her arms like she says, "Okay, listen here, you two. Not that you'll ever get a divorce, but if you do, we're going with him." Isn't that the best? I mean, yeah, baby.
Another thing that I think made the transition so easier and complete, her father was farming my family's ground. We had 1,200 acres of farm ground, and he was able and willing to bring me in as a partner. So we formed a partnership. So I became a farmer, didn't know anything about farming, but I learned very quickly and became a certified welder. And I'm very mechanical, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And, so I farmed for 20 years and loved every bit of it. So, I got involved with the political side of farming up there and all the things you do in a farming small community and involved with the kids. There were times when the kids were involved in sports. Renee would get in a car and take Rebecca to a game over here in this town 30 miles away, and I'd take the other one, go 40 miles in that direction.
Because in small communities, you drive a long way in the snow. Yeah. Everybody has challenges. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, and in the winter, we did dry farming where you just you don't do farming from like the middle of November until the middle of April. So I had time off between doing work on the farm, and when Renee was doing stuff, I could make meals and pick up the kids and do stuff with the children. So it just kind of worked out really well.
And Bob has been amazing.
Well,
I mean, do you want to share with them what you said when we got together about the man makes?
Well, I always told Renee, I said, it's the man that kind of sets the romantic tone. At least it was on my side of the fence. I always felt I'm the one that needs to be the romantic person to, just to keep things going, set the tone.
Yeah.
Do the funny little things, the cute little things, the romantic little things.
I mean,
and I still like to do that.
He'll go golf. He'll leave me a love note. And it's always dear, pretty lady. Always. Like if I travel, I leave him a love note. In my suitcase, I'll have a love note. For no reason at all, he'll bring home flowers. But I love my love notes. But when I come home and he's vacuuming and he's done the laundry.
Oh my goodness.
And
Really?
he's washed the sheets and baked the bed. I think,
my
am I
love
really bad?
language.
What? I go, no, this is a 50-50 relationship. And he cooks. He brings me coffee in bed every morning.
Yeah.
And I do lots of loving things back with him.
It's reciprocal.
That I think for me, coming out of a relationship, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good with a recovering alcoholic and everything.
Right.
But it's courtesy, it's thoughtfulness. You have to have patience. You have to take a breath so you don't get involved into pettiness.
Right.
And I've never been one to want to do that anyway. But you learn a lot from a former relationship, the good and the bad and the ugly. And so you really, if you've learned anything and you really want to make it right and not repeat your same ridiculous behaviors that got you in that bad spot, then you bring that forward into your next relationship. And it's like right now, he's sitting here rubbing my knee.
You guys are the cutest ever.
His humor. You gotta have humor.
It's warped.
The things he does are just beyond hilarious. And humor, we still lay in bed and hold hands at night.
Yeah.
We really do. I mean, he's
kind of
and
corny.
yes, this is old fashioned, but he still opens car doors, not just for me, but for all the ladies if we go somewhere with a bunch of women.
Just something my father taught me. He opened doors for ladies.
And he's just nice. He's so damn nice, and he's good in bed. Well, you kind of wonder about that at our age. So what the hell? It's just been an awesome time.
And we love to do things. We do a lot of things together, but we still have our differences. But we still do different things. I guess the old saying, you don't live in each other's pocket.
But we are very close and do so much together. We like a lot of the same things, but we have enough difference that it's great for conversation if you don't get stupid over it.
Yeah.
But actually, I really firmly believe you should be of the same political affiliation, because otherwise you're going to really argue.
Which we are, so that don't.
Oh, yeah.
Makes life easier.
But, we have friends that are not. Let's in this house. The other losing. It's like, what? So, there's also, this. Having, gone through these things, you really appreciate that second chance or the third chance.
Yeah. Third chance.
There's never give up hope. Never give up
hope.
Never. Oh, no.
I mean, my father, as an example, my mom was so awesome. And she had 6 months to live. She had just turned 67.
Yeah.
She made a list. Name, good help, housekeeper, good cook, but snores, because she traveled with these women. And she handed it to me and she goes, your father cannot be alone. She said, he won't make it. So here's a list of women for him to date. And what did Dad do? He already knew the lady because they had a winter house in Arizona and they were at a racetrack. They had everything in common. And she was so much like my mother. And so they had a second chance. And my mother totally approved. She did not want him alone. And that's true love. That is true love. When you're dying and you're worrying about your spouse making it. Because she said he'll starve to death. Kind of right. Relationships are not easy. They're not all fun and games, as we all know. But it's communication and respect.
I love that. That's very good advice. Your advice is amazing. I love just chatting with you. In closing, I just want to ask, what do you both most admire about each other? Bob?
Her willingness to try new things and her tenacity to keep things going. And her brilliance. She's just an amazing woman. She's brilliant, she's kind, and she's funny also.
I am him buffaloed, don't I?
And it works,
And mine is the fierceness of his love. I mean, this guy's all in. And he does not waver. He does not waver. When we all got in a car wreck, and this is when we weren't even engaged yet. And oh my gosh. He went into protection overload and was in the emergency because, he worked in one. He goes, where are they? He just, this protection, this fierce love, and not going to let anything hurt my family. I just thought, wow, this man, he makes a commitment, and his humor, You got to have humor. You got to laugh at yourself. You're like, come on, life's too short. And we do all sorts of crazy things. I come up with all these ideas. Let's go in a Duffy boat. Well, let's go on this motorcycle underwater with a water helmet in Hawaii and swim around. Let's do it on a hot air balloon. Yes, I keep us hopping. And Bob likes it.
Yep.
He loves it. He's adventurous. So you just can't have a couch potato if you're a want to do stuff.
No.
Right. I do have one more question though. So regarding when you first met, the knock on the door, do you guys think that timing is a factor in your relationship? Like, do you think back then that you just needed to have the right time? Like that wasn't your time to be together. You just had to wait, experience life, and then you come together later so that you could appreciate each other.
Is that kind of like fate?
Yeah.
You know, I came up, I had absolutely no idea. My dad and my mom said, you know, their daughter's getting married. And the only thing I knew about it was, okay, I'm going to a wedding, but I still remember her. So I thought, I'll see what happens. I would not planning ahead, but I thought, I wonder what she looks like, wonder if she's grown into and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so the knock on the door was definitely a little mind-blowing experience for me.
Mine too.
Yeah.
That was a
But-
spark.
But did you think it was fate? What would have happened if we'd have gotten together right then?
Oh,
Do you think it would have worked out?
I think it would have, because the connection was so strong.
I do too.
Never experienced anything like that. And I still don't.
Yeah. But
That's
for
really
me, it was like, I thought about it, especially going through the
Yeah.
hard times with my former spouse. And
Oh, yeah.
not that I thought, oh, you know, but I thought, what would have been like? Because I know, Dad would have loved to have him farm.
Yeah.
And his parents would have loved to have him farm. And we would have just segued right into the farm. We'd have had our babies. We'd have stayed there. But because we both were educated and we liked to travel, both of us had traveled extensively before we got married. You get that bug. I don't know, you know, like when you I want to do this. I want to go over there, you know, Europe, South America, Japan, yada. And so we were
Sweden.
Sweden,
Yep,
Sweden,
Sweden.
to get a burger from Burger.
Yeah, there you go. Long way to go for a burger.
You know. So yes, part of me would think about that through that whole time I didn't see him. And then the other part of me thought, well, no, I still think it would have worked out. I really do. But this was fate.
Yeah.
My marriage was done. His marriage was, we didn't just leave them.
No.
He was in counseling. Mine was done.
Yeah.
This isn't like hanky-pankying around and doing, and
Right.
whether it was or not, those things happen.
Yeah.
But this just wasn't our case. And so that was just the way it was. But for me, he came in and saved my kids' lives.
Yeah. No. Thank you.
They needed
And
him
Yeah.
at the right time.
And they're
Yeah.
good kids, and we get along great. You
What a
know.
blessing.
One thing the kids said, I know, when we were getting to know each other real quick, was they said, sometimes we don't like what Dad always does or says, but he's always fair.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's one thing I always try to be, is fair.
And he wasn't a Disneyland
No,
dad.
no,
I mean,
no, I wasn't.
I'm structured. He's structured. You are respectful. I have this thing where when we'd have a family meeting, you know, every week, because I'm a teacher, I had a little plastic apple a child had given to me. And so if the apple is in front of you, you get the floor at the table. You get to speak without us interrupting you. And then you can open it up for questions and discussion afterwards. And the kids are honest. They were extremely honest in their thoughts, because we made them understand that they need to just be, we're not going to recriminate. We're not going to, you know, get mad at you. So that kind of communication is so important when you're dealing with kids, because it's a hell of a roller coaster.
I agree.
Oh,
1,000%,
God, and with
yes.
a blended family, Mama Mia.
Never have you
I
had
mean,
kids before,
said
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
So, hello.
And we did try to take time for ourselves.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it wasn't all, you know, just kids. And the kids are very receptive to that and very respectful. of that. So that worked out really well.
They were just so happy to have an even keel guy that just said no or yes, but wasn't an easy patsy. I mean,
Right.
I'm the hammer.
I'm just nice guy.
So, one last question. What advice would you both give to couples out there or someone going through a difficult time and they don't have any hope finding their special someone?
Well, if one of them can try to re-spark it and the other one's willing to work on that, because separating and going separate ways is a lot tougher and the grass is not always greener. Sometimes you just lose sight of what you've got. And sometimes it's nice to rekindle that. How you rekindle that, each person needs to do that separately and find that way to do it.
But if you're in a dark place already,
Yeah.
there is always hope. There always is. I always say to people, you need to get out. You can't sit here and hide and wallow in self-pity or just sadness. I mean, you become depressed. You know, join some groups, find people to just talk with. There's so many different things out there. And if you're shy, reach out to your high school friends, reach out to your college friends, reach out to old friends you haven't seen forever. Things like that. When you're in a relationship that bogs you down so deeply, you lose touch with your friends usually. So many people do, and it's just heartbreaking how some spouses just hammer the holy heck out of and make them lose their self-esteem and that they're not worthy. It's horrible. And so they gotta, I really sincerely recommend for people that are going through a horrible time, interviews counselors, go to your minister. But I don't believe in just going to a counselor. You are paying for that counselor. You interview those people or you get in a small group. I've had several friends that have gone through divorces that actually go to divorce support groups, and you found each other in this, and they had glorious lives together. So you just got to take that step forward and go for it. But don't get suckered in this day and age. I mean, online stuff can be real. That I take that back though. Very credible groups that you sign up for. Why? How many friends do we have that connected through an online dating service?
Several.
Amazing. And what my girlfriend, one of them, she's a doctor of education and she's just really sharp. And she said, people don't understand. You investigate and you look and you figure things out, right? You don't just jump in there. But you also have to be very honest when you fill out those profiles. If I ever did that, I'd have a background check. I'd give for that.
Yeah.
Having taught in a men's prison, hell yeah, I'm going to have a background check.
Yes.
But there's always a second chance and a third chance.
But also, look what brought you together in the first place. What was that spark? You know, can you reignite that spark?
Yeah, that when you see each other again. Fireworks, let me tell you.
I've experienced those fireworks. I got
Isn't
you.
it wonderful?
Well, thank
Yes.
you.
And from the smile on your face, you are still experiencing
You're
those.
so
Yeah, you guys just make me so happy.
Well, thank you. You make us happy too.
Oh, well, that's why
You
we're
look
all
like
here.
a very happy person. You got a great smile. And everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Renee and Bob, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been a joy to listen and learn from your journey. We're so grateful that you've been
Well,
a part
thank
of
you.
it. So, yes, thank you.
Well, thanks for having us on your program. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
on your
Yeah.
podcast. Mwah, everybody.
Right back at you.
Take care.